Elias is here. He's going to be the special musical guest of WrestleMania this Sunday, which is very, very exciting. Jim, you've never met Elias before.
I have not, no.
He's a big man. He's musically talented. He's an athlete. He's incredible. Here he is. Look at the glittery scarf on this early in the morning. Elias,
hello.
He comes prepared.
I made it.
Yeah.
Great. I'm coming up to the desk here. Great intro. Thank you very much.
Of course.
I like walking into that.
Yeah. Well, welcome, man. So, when you do you have to have? I see you got your scarves on your wrists.
All my accessories. That's right. The scarves, the bracelets, the bandanas. I got it.
Do you have to buy them in bulk? Just in case they tear or anything, or do they survive pretty well?
They do pretty well. They hold up pretty well, but I kind of spot shop. You know, if I see something, I'm in Paris or something like that, and I see a bracelet I want, I'll go grab it, or wherever I'm traveling through, if I see a cool scarf, I'll just pick it up.
I guess you have that creative freedom. Like, you can show up with kind of whatever scarf you want. Have there been any scarves that you show up with and they go, you can't walk to the ring wearing that?
So far, no.
There you go.
I kind of can wear whatever, and they've been okay with it, right?
What kind of music do you play?
I mean, personally, I love to play like blues / country. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Blues country, that's kind of my vibe there. I guess like Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen. I like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Did you, because you're like the musician bad guy wrestler character is something that's been done for years, and lots of people have done it successfully. But I was thinking about it, and I think that you're the only one that could actually play. Like the role has always been, I'm going to pretend like I'm a musician, and we all know that you're not, and that's why we're booing. You're kind of the only one that walks up there with the guitar and just plays and sings. And
yes, thank you for pointing that out, by the way, letting the world know that. Yeah, I'm the only one that's ever actually played their instruments when they went out there. And, guitar is my number one, but as you know, piano, drums, whatever I got to do, I'll throw that in the mix.
So is that what you wanted to do before you wrestled? Do you want to be a musician?
No, I was wanting to be a wrestler, actually. And then music just kind of came along in the throughout my life, so I get to blend them both as I do this. Yeah.
So you always wanted to be a wrestler?
Yeah, I was always wrestling for sure, man.
I heard you were not big in high school. You know who told me that? Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Pat loves to bring that up.
Yeah. He said you were, because Elias, for those that can't see right now, he's a giant of a man. He's a big arm, big everything.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Large fellow.
Large guy.
Yeah, I was a skinnier kid. I probably was maybe 170, 165 pounds when I graduated. I was like playing baseball all the time, always running around, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But, when I decided wrestling's what it's going to be, it was, eat a lot of food, lift a lot of weights, try and get in the best shape you can. And that's kind of what I follow all the time now.
How long did it take you to actually feel like, okay, I'm a big dude now?
Jeez, man. I still don't feel like I'm big enough. I got to get bigger, actually. Yeah.
That's because you hang out with giant people.
That's true.
Right.
Some of these guys, I'm a big guy to normal people. But, to the guys I'm in, I might just be right in the mix.
Yeah, do you ever get frustrated when you're sitting there and people are watching on TV, and because you're paired up with guys that are equally as big, they're not sitting there going, these are just normal-sized dudes.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of times what I find is if people see me in real life, if they're blessed enough to see me in person, they go, wow, you're a lot bigger in real life than I thought you would be.
So when you I guess realize that music is going to be a big part, do you present the fact that you can perform music to WWE and go, this is something I can do?
So it actually kind of started. I was having a conversation with the legendary Dusty Rhodes. I was just talking to him about my life and who I am and whatnot. Sure enough, the next time I talked to him, I brought a guitar in. I told a little story to him about my life while I was strumming, and he was like, dude, that's it right there.
Did he wonder why in the conversation you pulled a guitar out, or did he know you were about to do that?
Dusty Rhodes, the guy's seen it all. He ain't surprised by nothing. You know what I mean? So, he was just interested. And when I showed up on Monday Night Raw, Vince McMahon, he wanted to know, what am I getting into? What is Elias here? And I went into his office and I said, Vince, put your cell phone away, hold your applause until after I'm finished. and shut your mouth.
You did that
And
in a private meeting with Vince?
Yeah, this was just a one-on-one with Vince. And sure enough, I played him a song, and he said, "Oh, yeah, this is going to be good."
That's pretty gutsy, because if it works, it's like you have this vision, and of course it worked. You got to show some balls and go in there.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, it might be the dumbest thing you've ever done.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, no, but I had the confidence that it would be good. Yeah, and so did he.
So what is it? Is it more nerve-wracking to play guitar for somebody like Dusty Rhodes or Vince McMahon when you're trying to prove what I can do?
Yeah.
Or is it nerve-wracking when you get in front of a stadium full of people that are there to see a wrestling show and you bust out the guitar?
That's a great question. Yeah, I guess in the one-on-one scenario, it's a lot more just so personal that it's, I don't know, because now at this point, man, all the arenas and the crowds that I've played in front of, that's just natural. You know what I mean?
Because there's one guy, if he looks at his watch or he yawns, you're like, oh, fuck. You have to notice it. You can't not notice it.
Exactly.
I guess that's like
a lot
on
of
those
pressure.
Yeah, that's like on those talent shows where you watch them try to have stand-ups perform in front of two people.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're just having a stand-up? Just do a
It's
show in
so
front of a
awful,
judge's
yeah.
table?
You got to cut your teeth in all different ways, right?
Yeah.
So.
Doing it in front of a couple of people is a lot harder than doing it in front of 500 or 1,000 or more.
Yeah.
It is too personal.
Yeah.
And I guess the freedom, too, of being a villain is that if you screw up in front of an arena full of people and they start booing you, you're still ahead of the game. You're still doing fine.
Oh, it don't
You know
matter.
what I mean?
It don't matter to me.
Doesn't matter.
Of course, right? Yeah, I've never screwed up. Right?
Right.
I just go with it.
It is what it is. It's all how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself going like, okay, like I want to be a musician. I want to be taken more seriously for my music. Do you find yourself going, I feel like I'm playing more music than I'm wrestling? Or do you feel like you found the comfortable medium?
I go back and forth between that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, this is right where I would be, and it's where I'm, for instance, like I'm playing my music and doing that, but I'm also feuding with Seth Rollins or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's where I should be. Now, because I've always wanted to be a wrestler, so that's what I love to do. You know what I mean? And the music thing is just like a passion that I have as well. So that's my ideal scenario. When I get to perform, it's equally as fun. It's just I also love the wrestling.
But do you play when you're not wrestling? Do you like just go out and do shows?
No. It's everything's WWE. My entire existence is WWE, man. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I've rebranded the company. If you haven't heard that, WWE stands for Walk with Elias.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
So it's all.
I hadn't heard that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
You get it now. You
Yeah,
understand.
of course.
I don't know. It's just so weird for me to see people who can do more than one thing well. Because I go, like, I can't do anything well. Okay. So I sit there, like, I feel like if I had the ability to do any type of music, for example, I would want to show the whole world I'm like the greatest musician ever. I don't just focus on the music. Look how good I am at doing this, because this is a thing that you can't do.
That's not enough for me.
Right.
I got to show them I'm the best musician in the world and the best wrestler. I got to just show it all.
I see. I guess that makes sense.
Well, musicians got to be good too, because most of them don't play music. Like, they're all wrestlers. So the fact that you could do something that almost none of them can do.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Well, within WWE, I'm absolutely the greatest musician. I'm talking on a worldwide scale.
Sure.
Right. Do you sit there? Do you look at musicians? And actually go like, I'm like, if I were just a musician, I think I'd be better than that person.
Well, I've seen concerts and things like that, and I'm like, you know what, like. Geez, I should throw this out there. I shouldn't throw the names out there of who I just recently saw, and I was like, you know what?
I'm better than
Elias is better than this.
Well, you should. We'd give you an honest. Who did you see?
I saw Mumford and Sons.
Oh, you're better than Mumford.
I think so. Yeah,
I think so.
I would agree with that.
I think that's
fair enough, right?
Yeah, that's also one of those things that I feel like a lot of wrestlers are sitting there going, "What's life going to be like after wrestling? Your body can only go for so long, and at some point you have to figure out, okay, the physicality just isn't going to happen anymore. Mm-hmm. You can kind of play guitar forever, right?
I would love to. I guess as long as my hands and brain work, I should be able to, right? So that'd be a fantastic thing to follow up wrestling with.
So you're the musical guest for WrestleMania this year.
The headlining musical act. As the headliner, we'll just leave it at that.
The headlining musical act. I mean, Joan Jett is going to be there performing too, but you are
exactly
the headlining musical act.
Yeah.
Why Joan Jett? Is she playing? Does she tie in somehow?
She's playing Ronda Rousey out.
Oh, she is.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Her song.
She has bad reputation.
Sure.
I was the same way. I was like, when they were just like, Joan Jett's going to be at WrestleMania. I was like, yeah?
It was like Conor McGregor had Sinead O'Connor sing the national anthem once when he walked. I understand that.
It makes sense. It's Italian. But do you go, well, I'd like to have a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and one day, of course, that is absolutely on the agenda. But right now, to be kind of given this opportunity, WWE hiring me to be their headlining musical act. Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be awesome. MetLife Stadium, 80,000 plus people coming out to see the Elias concert. It's going to be good.
when you when you have an opportunity like you've got, right, where you're one of you're the headlining musical act of WrestleMania.
Thank you.
But you get segments every week on TV. Uh-huh. Clearly, the act is working in the sense that you get big crowd reactions every time you go out. Like, everything is going well, right, and the company's behind it. Yep. Is there that thing inside of you that goes like, oh, my God, I'm going to do something to screw this up? Oh, my God, this is all going to end.
Well, I try to be prepared for like any and all situations they throw at me, right? Whatever segment it might be on television or whatever it might be in front of the crowd, I just try to make the best of whatever comes my way. As long as I'm doing that, man, if I screw up, if I mess up, you know what? That's life. It happens, and I'll deal with it when that happens.
Because you were kind of thrown in, a lot of guys, they come up from WWE's developmental system, which is NXT, and they come on the main roster with the character that they were doing there. Yeah. And for whatever reason, it doesn't work. It doesn't click with the audience. It just doesn't have the same sort of, I don't know if emphasis is the right word, but it just doesn't work as well as it did on NXT. And, sure. And you watch guys that you go, oh, they thought this was going to go really well, and they're kind of lost out there.
And it doesn't do well when everyone sees it.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. It just happens. Why do you suppose that the Elias character breaks that rule and actually has worked, and you're way bigger now than you ever were down there?
No, absolutely. I guess a couple things. One, I feel like they only got me in a small dose on NXT, right? They only saw me here and there, whereas on Monday Night Raw in front of the world, I get to really express myself and kind of show the things I can do. Secondly, from a character standpoint, it was like a natural evolution, right? I was the drifter in NXT, kind of this, traveling musician, more or less. And then here I am, I landed on Monday Night Raw. Now you're a rock star. Now I'm a rock star.
Right.
And, it's the spotlight. It's bigger. This is what it should be. So, those two things and just an incredible will to succeed on my own part has made me that.
Do you prefer singing about songs about towns and why they suck or why they're great? Because you've gone back and forth. Good guy Elias goes out there and he's like, oh, I love this town and here's a song about it. And then one week you just show up and you're like, wait, I just remembered.
Hold on. Yeah, I got to stop you real quick.
Yeah, please do.
I would love for you to go back and find me saying, I love this town. Let me sing a song about it. Uh-huh. That's not the case. Now, if you're referring to I don't think you're going to find one of those. Now, if you're referring to this like short time span where I was perceived as a good guy.
Sure, people were cheering.
On TV. Well, people cheer. People love Elias. Good, bad, no matter what you want to label it as.
Oh, I see.
But that was just a test. I was just testing people, okay? I was going to say, you know what? If I'm not so mean for a little while, do you give me all the respect and admiration that I deserve?
I see.
And they let me down, so I said, you know what? Nope.
Forget it.
I'm done being a nice guy.
Right. I'm back to telling you how much your town sucks.
Exactly.
I see. That makes sense.
Isn't it fun to say that to people?
It's the best.
Isn't it fun? It's the best. To tell them how shitty they are, how awful the place they live in is. It really is great.
It is.
You should see how mad people get when a guy goes up there, he's got a guitar, and he starts singing about how bad their football team is. Oh, they hate it. They just
really trigger a lot of people with certain things.
It's got to feel good, too, when you go up there, especially because you know that on some level they love you. When you can figure out how to make those people when you go out there and they're cheering you, and then you actually get them to boo you based on what you're saying, that's got to feel amazing.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm just, I just play with the crowd, right? I would take them up or down, whatever I got to do. But do you remember the incident in Seattle by chance?
Of course.
Okay, that was like such a moment where I wasn't even saying anything for maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and they're just nonstop screaming, booing as loud as they can with all of their heart, and I'm just sitting there.
What was it? It was like one line that you started with, right? That just stopped everybody in their tracks?
Yes, it didn't make sense it didn't make sense for there to be a basketball team in Seattle.
Right.
So, and for whatever reason, they must be diehard, classic Supersonic fans or something.
So when something like that happens, right, and they go like, "Oh my God, listen to this reaction."
Yeah.
You just have to know, because it's not like they tell you, "Okay, you're going to go out there, you're going to insult the town and say they shouldn't have a basketball team, and then they're going to boo you for 6 minutes." Like that would be the most insane wishful thinking in the world.
No.
Do you just have to go, I'm just going to sit in this for as long as humanly possible and trust that the production people in the back are just slowing everything down and allowing this to happen?
Well, yes and no. That's a tough balance. You know what I mean? That crowd was just so overwhelming, so powerful that it's like, I'm not even going to try to power through this. You know what I mean?
Because theoretically, you're not supposed to go 6 minutes in that moment.
No, yeah, and I get yelled at all the time for how much time I take up on television, but in the end, they know it is good television.
Right.
So, it's like that balance right there.
You get yelled at for taking too much time, and then the next week they're like, "Okay, we got you in this segment and that segment and this segment over here." So.
The best too is when you get there, you find out what do you guys have pride in, and then you're going to attack it.
That's often a question I'll ask the locals. You know what I mean? Exactly.
Don't you wish you could do that as a stand-up? Like that it wasn't like you could go up there and just insult a town?
Oh,
like
it's
just
nothing better. Your team sucks. Because it bothers people on a visceral level. I don't know why it bothers people when you insult their town or you insult their team, but people really get upset about that shit.
Well, you grow up in the city, and you're just everybody supports a certain cause, and it's a good feeling and things like that. And then you have somebody come by and say everything you believed in is just garbage. They get upset.
Especially when you're an outsider. You're way bigger than they are, right?
Yep.
You got a sparkly scarf on. Mm-hmm. It's just everything is just this guy is not the guy that should be telling me how to live and that everything I know. I mean, you remember Jim and I did a show that we won't say what the show was, but it was a show that was centered in a bar that needed help. And when we went in and the people realized that we were associated with that show and that it wasn't necessarily portraying their local bar in the best light, everybody in that place hated us.
Yeah.
They hated us.
Booed. We walked back in. I got a little boo. The woman yelled at us while we were shooting a wraparound segment or whatever it was. At the end, she fucking booed and yelled at us. It was like, what are you doing?
And it's like but they felt like their local thing was being insulted by outsiders.
It may be a total rat-infested dump, but it's our rat-infested.
Exactly.
Don't you dare bring that to light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like family. Like you sit around like, insulting your family, and then some other guy goes, "Yeah, he
your
sucks."
wife is fat.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Why would you say that? Is that your favorite moment that you've had so far being in WWE, or was it? I mean, you've had a lot. Last year at WrestleMania, if I remember correctly, did your musical performance, and you were interrupted by John Cena. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
That's huge.
That was big. Yeah. Now the thing is, I stole Undertaker's moment.
Right.
And then,
which is also like massive.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And then John Cena kind of came and he took my moment. So.
Right.
But man, honestly, I've had so many amazing moments. The Seattle one just stands out because it was just a big television moment. But the live events I do and traveling overseas, some of these crowds, they're just so passionate. It's so fun to be in front of.
How did John Cena interrupt you? Was that a mistake? He didn't realize you were playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably that. I'm out there singing and playing, and he just randomly decides, okay, I'm going to go out there. And by the time he's out there, it's too late.
Right.
You got to do something. So.
Right. Yeah, you always wonder, why would they make this mistake? They put on John Cena's music. I'm playing right now.
Why would you do this?
Yeah.
Do you sit there? So you grew up a wrestling fan, obviously, if you wanted to be.
Yeah.
So do you sit there as a guy who grew up a wrestling fan after something like that and go, oh my God, when you run down this segment, it's Undertaker, John Cena, and Elias. That's what this segment was. Like, do you just kind of sit back at moments like that and go, Jesus Christ, this happened?
I mean, I'm aware of it. I'm definitely aware of like where I'm at, what my career has done, the things and stuff I've seen, but it's so on to the next thing. You know what I mean? So it's like you do WrestleMania and man, whatever that'll be, awesome. But guess what? Monday Night Raw is the next night. Let's go do that. And then guess what? We're on the road again. And now we got 2 weeks in Europe or whatever it is. So I try to enjoy it just every second, even every second that I'm out there live and doing it, and take it in when I'm done, and then it's on to the next thing.
Right. Then you're also always kind of thinking about what's now and also what's tomorrow.
Absolutely.
There's always a what's tomorrow.
Yep.
Do you work out more than 3 times a week?
Yes.
That's probably what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the two of us. I was like, okay, that's...
Yeah, and do you drink like soda and eat shitty McDonald's?
I do not. No.
Oh,
I don't mess
all
with
right,
that
all
too
right.
much. Yeah.
That's a little dietary tip. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me write that one down.
Sure.
That's another difference.
Sam has been working out 3 times a week though.
Nice.
I have 3 times a week, 45 minutes at a clip. So,
Oh,
you know,
man, yeah,
I think pretty
great.
soon you and I will be right along the
Little
same
pose
lines.
off or something. I got you.
No major dietary changes, but we go, baby
Well, you got to
steps.
start small. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're doing the right things.
Right. I mean, I'm sure, did you start small or did you just dive right into it? Like, I'm just going to start lifting weights and eating tremendous amounts of food.
I mean, that is kind of a moment that I had right there, but I started small just as well. It was just back when I was a teenager.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what do you eat, right, to get all those calories? Can you eat whatever you want because
No, definitely not. I mean, it's going to just sound so boring, but I eat a lot of chicken and steak, and I love sushi, so I'm big on sushi. Fruits, vegetables, trying to have like a well-rounded meal. See, it's just boring. Nobody wants to hear that.
But I ate like a grilled chicken breast for dinner last night. Do you think I'm on the right track?
Yeah, I mean, that's it, man.
Sure.
What else you need?
Do you eat more than one a day?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all
For
right,
sure,
all
for
right.
sure.
So
Again,
good
small
quantities.
steps. You're doing great.
Okay.
You're
That
doing
makes
great.
sense to me. How many grilled chicken breasts would you eat in a day?
Maybe 3 to 4, something. That's just a portion of my day for sure.
And that's just
I like to start the day off maybe 10 to 12 eggs.
Oh, my
get a lot
God.
of stuff in that way.
Okay.
And then, move on to the chicken, then the steak, then the sushi. That's an ideal day.
So what do you do before you're a wrestler making a ton of money that can afford to buy a dozen eggs for breakfast every morning and eat like this? When you're just a kid with a dream who wants to get big, and then you start to get big, but you get big before you get rich and famous. How do you figure out how to afford like eating a week's worth of food every single day?
Well, for me, I had like a side job, and I was pretty broke with it, right? So just doing what I had to do to get where I had to get. So
That's so not fun to have a job and all your money just goes to breakfast.
food,
Yeah, it just goes
exactly,
to food.
Yeah, exactly.
How
Which
do
is
you
still
eat the
case.
eggs? 12 eggs a day?
Over
Does that seem like a
medium,
lot?
man. I'm just shoveling them in.
Oh, you
shoveling
make 'em?
in. No. I'll go wherever. On the road, I definitely can't make anything. I got to
Right.
buy everything.
So you'll pop into like a deli or something and go, I need 12 eggs?
Yeah, like a big Cracker Barrel guy on the road for sure. Cracker Barrel, 11, 12 eggs over medium for sure. Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. And I guess, has it become easier? I feel like there's
What's that?
more people that are health conscious and kind of aware of different people's nutrition in terms of eating on the road and figuring it out.
I don't know, easier. I mean, in terms of like there's more knowledge out there
Mm-hmm.
and things like, yeah, for sure. It's never totally easy to make the right decisions because you're always going to have like, there's the gas station, there's Wendy's, there's whatever, you know what I mean? And so it's really about just making the right decisions.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of times I'll be driving past a Wendy's and I'll go like, yeah, that'd be a good stop. I should just pop in there.
Yeah.
And then I do.
Yeah.
It's difficult to choose not to
course.
do that. Yeah.
No, Wendy's is great. I just, you can't always be eating that if you're trying to be in shape.
I have a good time. I do well with food. I make great food decisions. It's with condoms that I go wrong.
Yeah, okay. So everybody has their thing.
But also not the healthiest choice in the world.
Right, exactly.
It's a poor choice.
Right.
But I do feel like I think where the discipline kicks in is whenever I do anything physical, I feel like, okay, I'm entitled to a reward now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a
Like-
dangerous mentality. I
Right,
can tell
like
you that.
I've worked out, so I've burned all those calories, so I'm entitled to a treat now.
Yeah, of course.
And when you're living the lifestyle that you live, you're always doing something physical. So if that's the mentality you have, you're going like,
You're
well,
always treating yourself.
Just treats for days, no
Exactly.
problem.
Sounds great.
Right.
It sounds great.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't add up because if you get as big as you are, and then you start eating whatever you want, you get fat real quick, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a feeling, if I let myself go for a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, like it would show for sure.
You ever fantasize about that? Just going like, you know what if I just gave up and just allowed myself to become a big fat
Yes.
guy?
Oh, all
You
the
do?
time.
You think
Yes,
about that,
I
Jim?
do. Yes.
Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Just let go, man. No worries.
Right.
Yeah, you got it.
Like you think about those guys like that have movie roles where I had to gain like 40 pounds for this movie role where I just had to be a fat guy.
Yeah.
Like it sounds amazing. It sounds incredible.
Maybe the next evolution of Elias will be like overweight Elias, just kind of sitting on the stool and playing guitar. And
Yeah, once you get older, you can be
Yeah.
a washed up rock star.
Yeah.
And you got to be kind of fat then, right?
it's kind of natural, anyways, right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
Has anyone done that? Like a fat or dumpy, washed up character?
On purpose? I don't think so. No.
Yeah, yeah. I think characters have become fat and dumpy and washed up, and I don't know if
not on purpose
if they portrayed themselves, but I'd be into it. Who did you grow up watching, and liking?
Man. I mean, Jake the Snake, Macho Man, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Kurt Angle. I'm moving up towards the more current generation, but yeah, I mean, Shawn Michaels was my all-time favorite. Macho Man, of course, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. I could just list every wrestler if you'd like me to.
Yeah, I liked all of them.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, I did. Those are my select few. You know what I mean? Like I loved Eddie Guerrero, and so I'll keep going. Yeah, cut me off.
Did you do a bunch of wrestling before you got to WWE?
I was an independent scene for maybe 4.5, 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And the whole time I was trying to get to WWE.
That was the whole reason for being.
Oh yeah, that was the goal from the beginning. Yep.
Dave in the Bronx says he used your warm-up routine. What's going on, Dave?
What's going on, Sam? No, I saw his warm-up routine from the Celtic Warrior workouts, and I started doing that before my workouts, and I did a complete body transformation. Like, I'm 217 now. Oof, sorry, I'm very nervous. 217, like, with abs, which is really hard. But yeah, his warm-up of just like the stretching and
the dynamic stuff. Yeah, of course. I remember it, man. That's fantastic that you were able to take that, see that video, and it touched your life like that, dude. And you've transformed. 217. I don't know where you were at before, but it sounds like you must have lost some weight and gotten really great shape. So good, man. I'm glad what I put out there could help in some way like that.
What's the warm-up? What is it?
It starts with a bunch of, I guess, calisthenics, dynamics, skipping, scooping, hip open, stretching, things like that. Just really gets the blood flowing and your body primed for exercise.
That guy was nervous talking to you. Do you ever get? Isn't it weird when people are nervous talking to you?
Yeah, I feel for them because there was a time in my life where I can imagine. I met Shawn Michaels, my all-time favorite when I was 15, and I was just beyond nervous.
Right.
So
how did he treat you?
Great.
It was nice.
He was very, very cool, and I told him, I said, "You make me want to be a wrestler." That was I had to tell him that.
You just look at you. It's never gonna happen, kid. Keep moving.
But so whenever people are nervous or whatever, they don't know what to say or do, I understand, you know what I mean? So it's a little uncomfortable at times, but I do understand, and I feel for them.
So you do the independents for 4 or 5 years, then you end up in NXT, which is primarily based in Florida, but does some travel.
Yeah.
Not WWE level travel, but does...
No, but they do road shows.
Road shows.
Yes.
You get to WWE, where, it's nothing but travel all the time.
Yeah.
And just show. And like you said, the pace, that the stories are moving and the things that you're doing are moving is, it's insane. It's like nothing else in entertainment.
Yep.
What was kind of the biggest shock or what left you kind of the most like, okay, I gotta get used to this and I gotta get used to it now?
Man, it's, that's kind of I do get that question sometimes, but it's weird because as a fan of wrestling, I wasn't just watching Monday Night Raw and then I was tuning out the rest of the week. I'm studying what it's about, what it's so nothing is really catching me off guard here. You know what I mean? I kind of knew, oh yeah, it's a total grind and you're traveling all the time and it takes its toll. And you know what I mean? So, and television, live television, it's a crazy environment, but it's not totally caught me off guard. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
Isn't the live element great, though? Because there's no net, so if you fuck up, that's just it. There's something great about that.
Live performing. Exactly. You just said it right there. So.
Yeah, it's over. You don't have to go back and try to touch it up. It's whether you did it right or you did it wrong.
Yeah.
All we can do is think about what we're doing next time anyway.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you got into and you were like, okay, I know how this works, or I have a pretty good idea how this works, and then you saw it firsthand and you said, this is totally different?
Man, again, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Of course, it's just, I catch myself in moments where I'll get stressed out or I'll get angry or whatever it may be because of the whole process. And then I catch myself and go, oh yeah, this is what I do. You know what I mean? This is all a part of it. So
Yeah, this is just part of the gig.
Yeah.
I guess you have to maintain that philosophy, right? Regardless of what, like this, it's not like you're brought here just to jump in a ring, wrestle, punch in, punch out, and you're done. Like this is a whole lifestyle of a job.
Definitely not that, man. You know, even and if we get a day off, it's not like I'm just checked out. I'm living it all the time.
Do you like when the celebrities are around? Like when you got Colin Jost and Michael Che that are going to be in the Andre Battle Royal at WrestleMania, and they're involved with Braun Strowman and whatnot?
I mean,
or do you prefer when it's like, let's concentrate on the wrestlers that have been here?
Yeah,
you know?
I'm always for focusing on the talent that we have and making them the best we can and making them be the biggest deal we can. If a celebrity comes in and it's going to help elevate or bring more people or, you know, more eyes on the product, then yeah, let's do it. I'm game for it. Let's make it great somehow. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I go back and forth on if I think it's good or not.
But as long as it goes back to the talent that is there night in, night out, then that's when you like it.
Yeah, listen, if Colin Jost and Michael Che come in and we're all about just let's make those guys look great and then move on, that don't do anything for anybody as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But if they come in and hey, it makes Braun Strowman look great and more people see WWE and it's a good interaction, okay, cool.
Wouldn't you like to throw a celebrity around? Wouldn't that be nice?
Just put them in their place, right? Yeah.
Bradley Cooper came in to promote A Star Is Born or something like that, and you just got to smash something over his face.
No, I would love if he came in.
Yeah.
Now he's like playing guitar and singing and stuff, right?
Right.
That would be all right.
You know what? You know what I don't like? That Bradley Cooper does that, right? And everybody's acting like he's a real singer now.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I don't see what's the difference between an actor who can, because it's not like he's this amazing singer-songwriter. He can pull off singing. I don't see what's the difference between an actor that can do that and a guy like Elias who's a wrestler that's been doing that this whole time. Nobody was making this big commotion.
Well, you know, that is the stigma around WWE. You know what I mean? If it's on WWE TV, people are going to think it's just all, I don't know.
It's a goof.
Yeah, it's just all a goof, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, anybody that really knows the product, they know there's a lot of talent on that show, a lot of talent on our roster. And, you know, it's really unlike any other form of entertainment.
Have you met anybody that's been like, I'm a huge fan of what you do, and you're like, what the hell, you?
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen.
No.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great, man. So...
What did he say? He said, like, I'm a fan?
He said, hey, man, I know what WWE stands for.
Did he really?
So I was like, dude, great.
Where did you meet him?
Great. Listen, I was in New York filming my documentary at the time. We were doing something at the Garden. He was there. It was a brief interaction, but, man.
But the fact that he knew even who you were and appreciated it enough that he knew the catchphrase,
of course,
is like enormous.
Yes, right. And I love Bruce Springsteen and have my whole life. So to have that right there is very cool.
Do you think sometimes about like figuring out how you can take the Elias character that like is kind of an attraction, right? In the sense that you're performing, you're singing, you're doing it's there's an act here and moving it so that you can be the person who's main eventing against Brock Lesnar or somebody like that.
Yeah, and I really think that's just a matter of opportunity kind of coming my way, which I'm ready for when the opportunity comes, I'll be ready for that. So I don't know how it's viewed otherwise, but for me, I think it's just a matter of switching gears, you know.
And just being ready for all of it.
Yeah.
Do you have nights where you're like, this went terribly, I shouldn't be doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't necessarily for the whole room, but okay, that's good to know. Because I mean, yeah, I think like no matter how long any of us are doing it, whatever we do, some days we leave going,
boy, do I stink.
Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Everybody is probably their own harshest critic, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely elements of that where we want to make everything great. Yeah.
Anybody who's good. Like people who go, no, that really doesn't occur to me. I'm just, I go out there and I'm confident in everything that I do. You're probably not that good then. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
I feel like people who are their own harshest critics.
Yeah.
Are generally the ones that end up being better off for it.
Makes sense.
I mean, it's torture, but they're better off for it.
Yeah.
Jim, that does occur to you sometimes?
Yeah. A lot. You're in the wrong business. Shit. Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times.
Have you started writing for your WrestleMania music? I mean, the last pay-per-view, I thought it was pretty exceptional because you ended up. What'd you have, like 3 segments at the last pay-per-view?
I had 4.
4,
actually.
Where
yes.
it was like interstitials, where it was almost like Elias was there with his guitar, explaining the story of the night as we went on.
Sing a song about whatever just occurred.
Yeah.
Talk about the city a little bit, and then move on, and then have another, one of those later on in the night or whatever. So that was super fun. Yes, I've got ideas for WrestleMania for sure.
And do you do a lot of your own writing?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, when it comes down to the music and things like that, there's only so many, people that could help you with that kind of thing, So a lot of these words are just coming from my head, man.
Have people presented you, like writers or whoever it is, presented you songs that go like, I was thinking this could be your song, and it goes like da 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 da, and you're like, what the? I'm not gonna sing this.
You know what? No, because right off the bat, when I get to Monday Night Raw, they kind of understand that it's different, right? So they'd rather come to me and see, what does Elias want to say? What does he want to do? What's the music like? And then they can help from that point on. So there's always ideas being thrown in the mix, but nobody's insulted me in that that fashion there where they come up with a crazy song. Like
you would take it as an insult, though.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like, you have no idea what I do you?
What are you thinking, right? Get out of here right now. Yeah.
Who is your, if you could say, like, okay, we are going to do something, we're giving you a match at WrestleMania, Elias, who do you want the match to be with?
Man, the guys that I messed with last year, John Cena, The Undertaker, just those guys are big time WrestleMania names, and at WrestleMania, that's where you want to be, right in the big time, right there. So that's it for sure. When
you came on board and real quick started getting a lot of camera time and started getting your own segments and all this stuff, and it was going well, so you got more and more. Mm-hmm. Did you get side eyes from people that have been there a while and maybe weren't getting those opportunities, going, who's this guy? Where'd he come from and who's he think he is?
Not to my face anyways, you know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody's kind of at least seen what Elias is, and the big thing is the crowd reactions, right? It's like almost, you can't deny that. So even if you're sitting there and you're going like, man, this guy's only been here 6 months or a year and I've been here 5, it's hard to deny what you're seeing, you know what I mean? So,
right. If it's working, it's working.
Yeah, right. And I think everybody kind of understands that. And like I said, to my face, it's all been cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was otherwise.
Want more Jim and Sam? Catch up with full episodes and interviews from celebrity guests anytime on demand using the SiriusXM app.